joined us. Okay, so thank you again for joining our third meetup. This year, this is again a community where we organize as founders, meet each other, and network and share wisdom. My name is Ahmed Zayed. I'm the host for this community. I am an IT professional and a career coach, and I have my own business, FutureCareer.net, where I help professionals land jobs in 3 months or less through a coaching system that I've built through the years. Our theme today is HR related. Our panel will start with Emad because he's the one who's available today. So the first thing that we do with panel is just again introduce yourself, Emad. Tell us who do you help, what do you offer, and then eventually we'll ask you more questions. And again, if you guys in the room have questions related to Ahmed, please keep it after the introduction. We'll bombard him with other questions after that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ahmed, for having me, and thank you so much, everybody, for joining this wonderful session. I think it will be, as Ahmed said, a very unique session, very specific, and I think we already have Wael here as a panel member, so I will start myself. I am Emad Abulmagd. I am the like an HR consultant. Last week or the week before, I used to work for Tony Graham Automotive Group. I just resigned to focus more on my own business, which is Prime Canadian HR Consulting. What I do right now, what I used to do, and what I do, and what I will continue to do, what I'm passionate about is to help people thrive in their HR management functions. So, which is in general, I used to be the HR director for automotive company and also for YMCA of the National Capital Region. And before this, I used to be an employment counselor. So I have attended many sessions with Ahmed and Coach Mo in supporting people to find and land their jobs in Canada. And I give Ahmed a round of applause for the work that he is doing to support people and help people every day, every week. We have sessions, we have meetups to help people land their jobs in Canada, which is Canada and America as well, and so North America in general, which is wonderful initiatives that Ahmed is and Coach Mo are participating in, and I try to help them as much as I can. So my focus is HR. Now, right now in Prime Canadian Consulting, we focus on providing fractional HR, which is HR as a service. We provide HR to different fields, which is primarily in the healthcare field. We have some dental offices, and we have an AI in the medical field. AI company, Charty, is an AI company in the medical field, and we provide also HR to the automotive industry. So that's the focus right now. HR for small and medium-sized enterprises. It's called fractional HR or HR as a service. So we provide all the HR functions to these companies. Whether as a retainer, if we have a retainer with a company, or on as needed basis. So we provide the employee relations. We have the all the admin part of the HR. We do the payroll. We do the benefit management, benefit administration for some of these companies. So that's primarily what I do, and that what I hope I can contribute to this session is to shed some lights on the importance of HR and how we can make use of the HR in small and medium-sized enterprises, and also maybe focus on some of the challenges that small and medium-sized enterprises face currently in Canada or North America in general, or even in the Middle East. I have some clients in the Middle East. I'm working with some clients in Saudi Arabia and Egypt, so we have some experience with the Middle East as well.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay, so I think Wael is having some, networking issues to connect, but he will join us soon. So let's maybe go ahead with some of the questions that we mostly want to hear from you, Ahmed, from
Yes,
your
sure.
experience. So one of the main questions that I always ask in this community is what is one mistake that most founders do related to HR today, and what is one leverage that you think founders need to focus on from an HR perspective in 2026 to help their business?
Yeah, I think the most important, or the most significant problem that most of the entrepreneurs do is that they think HR is only the admin job. it's an admin job. So they think HR is just attendance, timekeeping, and that's it. So this is HR. They think that they can handle this all by their own. Even when they have a scalable business, when they grow, they still have the same mindset, which is I can handle it all. I handled this before, so I can handle this right now, and I can handle it in the future. So that's the most important, the most significant problem that most of the entrepreneurs do, is that they think that they can handle the admin part of the HR, which is they might be able to handle the HR as an admin function, but HR is not the admin only. HR has many functions. HR has the performance management function. HR has the benefits function. HR has the employee relations, employee expectations. So many functions in HR that we have to handle, starting from even hiring and firing. So they think that or there is a misconception about HR, which is HR does not know what I do. So they cannot help me in selecting people, which is a myth. I don't need to know the ins and outs of your job, but I need to know what your business is about and how you run your business, and what skills you need in this job, so I can help you find the right person to fill this position. So I have many tasks that I can help with in selecting people and hiring the right person and onboarding and orientation and so on, until you have the highest top performer in your company. So this is part of I think these are some of the problems that entrepreneurs face in right now. So if some of you have met some of these problems, please share your experience with selecting the right person with the admin part of the HR. But have you handled the other parts of HR, other functions of HR, like performance management, like hiring and firing, like orientation and onboarding? All these functions should be taken care of, not only the admin part of HR.
I think Ahmed, just coming back to your point, since founders mostly start small, like very, very small
that's the problem.
teams,
Yeah,
they don't really hire more than one or two, and they sometimes give them a ton of executive assistant responsibilities. And I want to maybe bring Barbara, because she's in
yes.
HR, and also she use agentic AI somehow now. If Barbara, you're okay. What do you feel like is happening today? Like, does most people really hire now as a founder, or do you think they go first to agentic AI to get some support first, and then if the function is not being able to deliver by a human, then sorry, by an agentic AI, then they go to a human, which is rare. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm not directly in HR, but I will say a couple of things. So I work with a number of clients because of the fact that they're in defense and they're in tech, that they are growing. So I guess for those of us who studied economics, it's a classic guns or butter environment. And now we're kind of switching a little bit to guns. So I would just say that, the CEOs that I'm working with that are hiring, one of their biggest challenges is time, really, in terms of being able to intersect a job requirement with with a resume that may or may not reflect not just skills and experience, but credentials and competence. And sometimes it's kind of that human to human contact that eventually will determine whether or not there's a good fit culturally. But what I'm seeing more and more, and I'm working actually with a colleague who has developed an AI solution for HR that creates a ranking based on video. And somebody mentioned about the Gen Z being able to have a number of different, whether you're writing a portfolio or having to do some sort of test to be qualified for a role, which increasingly seems true, particularly for technical roles, a resume, and any other social media. We're able to intersect all of that and understand, from a scoring perspective. And this is assuming that you have, quite a few resumes, that you're able to at least shortlist people without having to spend hours and hours going through resumes. So that's that's assuming that you are hiring and that you're needing to really intersect numerous pieces of content that include cover letters, social media, and any portfolio that you're requesting from a potential to hire. I will say that at a point, I guess, once you've been able to use kind of a tool like that to be able to shortlist, it's really about ensuring you're asking good questions and seeing that there's, can the person do the job? Can you work with them? And make that happen. But what I'm finding is if you're able to really shortlist people and understand their skills, their experience, and potentially even their attitude, that's a good starting point to shortlist folks if you are hiring. So, for the companies that are doing that, if we're going to be rolling out a beta, and I would love to be able to extend an offer to test it if for the folks on this call, if that is of interest.
Amazing. Yeah, for sure. If you want to share the details or link in the chat, then folks can
Yeah.
Ahmed, may I share something or intercept
Yeah,
that
yeah.
on Barbara's what
Yeah,
Barbara
no, again,
is
this
saying
is guys
before?
open
I
discussion.
just wanna make sure I understood what she said, because again, the half year that I was lending somewhere else, so I'm sorry for that. Barbara, you said you are working on a solution that would establish for the recruiter whether a person is a good fit for a job. Did I hear that
That's right.
right?
Yeah. So it's based on content. So for example, if you can basically intersect a job description with a resume, a cover letter, potential, if they had to, do a video to present themselves, to see how they speak, if they're articulate. If you have to, have some sort of technical exam or a writing exam, if it's to do with marketing or sales, and then it will take all that content and grade it based on the responses. The algorithm is structured in such a way it's both quantitative and qualitative, and then you can shortlist it. So for example, if you're getting 100 resumes for a job, you might want to be able to, pick out the top 5 or top 10 based on that intake process, and then be able to score it, and then have that conversation when you have time. So yes, that's exactly what we're working on. It's actually it exists. We're going to be going to market probably in April. I will have a link to it to be able to share with everybody, and you can try the tool. Like I'm going to be providing it to everybody for free, and we're going to be commercializing it probably by the end of the year, this upcoming quarter, so
Okay.
quarter 2. Yeah.
So since we're talking about hiring, and we have Emad and Ahmed and on the call, that scope that you're talking about is to get the employee in the door. So selection in order to pass and fail to get in the door, or does it take the dimension of whether this employee strategically is gonna stay long in the company? Because this is two scopes.
A good point.
Yeah, right.
So that's a really good point. So what is the rate of churn, potentially a churn score for that employee based on, for example, their LinkedIn profile, you have to ensure that, this is whatever's publicly facing and what they're able to disclose to you, right? So definitely your resume, your LinkedIn score, or any other social posts around churn will give you a rate, determination of, 90% chance that they're going to be leaving in the first year or something of that nature. Absolutely. That's part of it.
Okay. Because I just left a conversation earlier where there was a solution for recruiters, whether they're external recruiters or internal recruiters in a company as talent acquisition, to able to, you're now feeding the job description versus a resume, right? The dimension I'm talking about is feeding a resume, job description, and the cultural analysis to establish whether this resume and this person is going to fit long-term with the culture of the firm. So sometimes we get people, and there's a lot of time, a lot of conversation in especially large corporates about well, we just spent 3 months in the hiring cycle. The person gets in within 2 months after hiring, hell breaks loose, and then now the person might not even complete their probation period. So now I'm back onto the cycle of the 3 months to hire a replacement, and that obviously costs the organization a lot of time and money.
That's right. Yeah. So again, we can basically take any input. So for example, if part of your process is to record a video, or they have, existing content online, or they're a developer and they have code that they're willing to share with you through GitHub, or any content that can come in, we have an agent that will, based on the algorithm, use the quality, the quantity, all the measurements to determine a number of different criteria of whether or not this is a good fit. So I will have, I can give you screenshots and all that good stuff when I meet with my developer in a couple of weeks, and I'm happy to share this with everybody. But what I've seen, and we've had a number of HR people use this, is basically they're saying, this is saving me so much time and minimizing the risk of hiring somebody who, to your point, barely went through probation, and now there's a cost and time required to source a new candidate, and hopefully they'll be able to stick around for longer than probation.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
think, this is a good segue to, introduce Wael. Thanks, Wael, for joining. I know that, you had some maybe internet issues, and I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself. Yeah. And then
Thank
maybe
you so much.
please go ahead.
Thank you so much for waiting. I'm sorry for the delay. Just a brief, a quick brief of, about me. I'm Wael Khalil. I'm the CCO of Knox Holding Group. We have different companies working in different industries. Mainly, we have for this topic, we have a company. It's called Knox Human Capital. It's an HR consultation company. We are doing hiring, outsourcing, PPO, even the personnel, payroll management. All of these services are integrated with an HR system called Odoo, with some customization to fit in the market exactly. We are working with big names like Amazon, Noon, Capgemini, and so on. We are working in Egypt and Saudi Arabia and UAE as well. And we are hiring across overseas. We are hiring from America to America, from Europe to Europe, and so on. We have a very well structured team from the HR and operations team in Egypt and also in KSA.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Wael. And Barbara, thank you so much for joining. Maybe again, you can network offline with other folks here. I think Wael maybe will benefit from your new app whenever it's live. So feel free to reach out.
So apologies, everybody. I do have to leave, but feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I will connect with the group on the website, and we'll talk in the next round.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Barbara.
Thank you so much. All right.
You're
Bye
welcome.
now.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So again, well, the panel is just you and Emad for today. Ahmed unfortunately had an emergency, so he wouldn't be able to join. So again, I wanna give you the time to share your wisdom about how you've been able with the other partners and group to evolve your business to become that group for now. Again, just scaling from small point at the beginning. We're mostly here small founders, and we just have a small kind of a company for now. Hopefully we'll grow one day, but again, we wanted to learn from you and Emad as well. What should we think of from an HR perspective as a founder in order for us to get to that level and not feel tired of managing people. Again, managing people is always a bottleneck and a pain sometimes. So I'll let you maybe share some wisdom, and then I'll get back to Emad as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ahmed. Briefly, we can start with the recruitment process. First, we are talking about the selection point. once we make a brief with the client with their need exactly, what they are need exactly, and then we have a very big pool of data and CVs and many different resources we are depending on, and then we make just screening, phone screening or interview screening on the first, and then once we exactly understand what the client need, we can match 100% from the criteria he are looking for. And then the point is the challenge in the pool of candidates is the main challenge in the whole recruitment process. Once we have this pool, and then we have very well understanding of the client need, and then we can match the candidate with the right company. From this is the first point for the recruitment, and then the main challenge next is how to manage these people. I don't mean the management of the skills and the management of the technical position, the management of people from the humanity perspective, and then from the perspective of how to deal with the government for the insurance, medical insurance, social insurance, and so on, and how we can facilitate some facilities for the candidate or for the employee, and in this stage he is exactly an employee over now. And then we have very big partnership with internal and external partners to supply or to facilitate some benefits for the employee, to make some benefits and compensation for the employees. And then how we can develop and train this employee to have a good opportunity in the team, in the same company, and how to successful plan for every employee in the organization. And we can also make some organization development. Once we go to the small company, they have some departments. Every department, we just need to make sure every department is knowing well what they are what their objective in the main role for every department, and how we communicate or link the departments together to make a very good alignment, to have very short, the shortest process to have the objectives, and then what is the maximum objectives or maximum optimization from the other departments together.
Love it.
I love this point. Sure.
Sorry, I'm sure. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you, but I thought you were done.
No, I'm done.
Okay, awesome. Again, I just, thank you so much for sharing this, and I'll maybe, ask Emad if you want to share, Emad, some of those findings about how founders like us can, use what's available today, and how we can grow, without, again, hurting our financials and baseline.
Yes.
In the most critical areas. Again, I think most founders are facing sales and marketing issues. I guess this is at least me.
Yes.
So I'm not sure about you guys. You can tell whatever you're facing from an HR perspective, but how do you think, or what is the best approach here? Should we hire or should we find tools?
Yes. So it's a very interesting question. So about HR, should we hire an HR person, or should we hire an HR consulting company? Should we hire, or should we use agentic AIs and that's it? So honestly, there is no one answer that fits all. It depends on many factors. It has many factors. As Wael said, some major some big companies, they must have their own HR department, or even at least outsource the whole HR function to other departments, other companies. So it depends on the many factors, including the size of the company, the scalability of the company. Are you scalable or not? Are you already growing, or you are still in the first stage? Or and how many how many functions of HR do you have in your company as well? So you don't have all the HR functions at the same time. So first of all, if we have a company that has only one or two persons, so one person or two people, so we can start by having the HR, the owner managing all the HR functions with some kind of support from fractional HR, as we said before. They can use fractional HR. They don't have to hire a retainer or retain an HR company or HR agency like what Wael and his company do. They get all the HR function, but they can hire someone to, for example, if they are looking for hiring, they can get the service or the fractional HR for hiring only. If they are having problems with some people management or employee relations issues, they can hire or they can get the support from a consulting company in this aspect as well, which is, there are many ways. They can work by hours, like charge them per hour, or a retainer, as we said before. Usually retainer is more cost efficient than hourly, but hourly is more of if they have on call or on demand needs, urgent needs that you would like to fill, they can use the hiring per hour to support them in the HR functions. So again, so it depends on the company size, the experience of the people as well. As you said, Ahmed, I need my people to focus on the sales, on marketing, on their professional job. I don't want them to lose track with HR and admin parts of the HR jobs and lose focus on their main job. If you think, I had an interesting video about this, but it was in Arabic, but I handled this question in detail. So if you see that your people are starting to lose focus and distract from their main job, stop them immediately and say, don't like forget about HR functions. They will have someone to take care of HR. You focus on your business. As you said, Ahmed, I need to have some business running. If I'm not running my business and I lose track, I lose focus, and I focus only on HR and admin parts, you lose your business and the whole company will collapse. So you need to decide when and what. Sorry again, Ahmed. So just one point. You can use fractional HR service companies, or you can hire someone. You can hire someone part-time. You don't have to hire someone full-time. If your company is still growing, like from 2 people, now you have 5 people, you have 10 people, you need someone to work at an HR for the HR function, a couple of hours a week, and that's it. You don't have to hire a full-time person. You can hire a part-time person to handle all the HR functions. And usually we hire a generalist who can handle all the HR functions, not a specialist, because the specialists usually focus on one aspect of the HR, but a generalist can handle all the HR functions. This is usually the recommendation for new and growing companies.
I love it. And again, I want to bring, David, Ayman, George, Ahmed, in the discussion, and I want to learn from you guys. What are you currently facing from an HR perspective? And again, I want to see how the panel here today can help you with your problem. So I'm not sure if you guys have, some insights. David, what are you currently using as an HR, or are you just, again, doing this whole show yourself right now?
Yeah. Well, we usually just post on LinkedIn and see what happens, and see who applies. And I come from 30 years of doing this kind of stuff. I come from matrix structure where I began. I was running the business, and I had matrix, the guy who did the HR development of people's career. I said, keep me out of it. I don't care about these people. I have no interest. I got a client and customers. You take care of whatever they're talking about with HR and vacations and development and training. I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't even care. I got a contract to execute. You deal with that, right?
Yes.
So I come from the old school, right? That's the running a 1,000 people organization, right? Building a country in telecom, right? No bandwidth, don't care. And then
David, we have a proverb in Arabic that says, "Give the bread to the baker to cook, to bake." So don't do other people's job. So do your job and let other people do their job.
People come to me, hey, my dog died yesterday. I don't care. Get away from me. Yeah, I got to go to a CTO meeting right now. I got to do. You deal with HR matrix structure. All those, I don't deal with those guys. And then, as I went on, my HR challenges was always trying to find the right people. The first thing I would always check is the people's churn rate. How long would they last in a job? My first interview would be, how long have you been in the last job? I'd look at quickly, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. I'd kill the interview. I'd walk away. So I'm done. I got no bandwidth for this conversation. I'm not gonna deal with you. I don't even care who you are. I see your nature. You're jumping for salary increases and whatever you're doing. Bye. I'm done with you. And so, as I kind of got along going, I would say I was just thinking about my wife. So we work from home remotely in Florida. She works for an oncology medical company, and she does. They're consolidating these offices, these doctors, like hundreds and hundreds of doctors, and they centralize HR and accounting for hundreds of companies. So all these doctors do not do HR. They do not do finance. They do not do CPA activities. My wife's in the CPA organization, but they have an HR organization that hire people, office managers, desk people for Tennessee, Florida, Kentucky, whatever. It goes to a centralized HR structure. So if that makes sense, the doctors don't want to deal with this either. We don't care who runs the front desk for us, and the overhead company pays their salaries anyways, and the doctors get paid from the overhead company. So I don't know. I mean, something like that, right? So that's how things are going with consolidation and M&A right now in the U.S. These small doctor are all consolidating their HR functions and accounting functions to a third-party company. They don't want to hire anybody like that. So I see that happening every day. And so I would say in my life right now, so I work for a company based out of Dubai. We're always hiring people, but it's always like LinkedIn postings, right? I mean, because I used to be a hiring manager for big companies like Nokia and stuff like that, and I had to deal with like 80 resumes to find a person, and I get so mad at HR. I said, man, I got no time to look at 80 people, right? And I ended up not hiring any of them anyways. I could call somebody I knew, and I hire that person. I would just give up on HR. That's it. So unless you guys do some kind of filtering about churn rates, about like one question I have, I mean, I don't know if it makes sense or not, would be if like I'm into data centers right now and developing people to hire people for the roadmap of the new technologies. Would HR create like a organizational structure themselves and give it to a company and say, this is the kind of job profiles, titles you should use to build your company, and here's a monthly sequence or quarterly sequence to bring people into the company? Because most companies, small companies, don't even know who to hire and what the organization chart should look like. Instead of like being reactive to requests, can you be proactive to requests and say, this is what you should be thinking about on profiling a HR functionality of what talent you need to grow your type of company.
Okay, Ahmed, if you wanna maybe chime in here, and then Wael, if you also wanna chime after Ahmed, and then I'll give you
I think
the mic.
Coach Mo has like his hand raised before. If you'd like to comment before I give my answer to this question.
I think Coach Mo, you have another question, so let's take this one first, and then come back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Ahmed, for noticing. Well, it's not a question; it's a solution for what is which is 25 years in the space of IT building solutions. So, I have a platform called 60talent.net, and the 60talent.net platform has a community called the startups. So I'm going to just share quickly the website on the chat. So what we do with this, relevant to what all of you were sharing, and David, the concept of 60 talent is how to actually zero down on the talent you need to work for you in just 60 seconds. 60 seconds, nothing crazy, nothing big, right? Okay, so this is a marketplace. On one side are startups, like Ahmed was saying, and on the other side are fractional help that you need in many areas of your business. So for example, a startup needs somebody to do a business plan, right? So they go to an expert who does business plans, but they want to hire them only for 10 hours to do the business plan, and end of story. right? So they pay them for the 10 hours and they build them on the platform, they approve the work, they pay them, and they move on. Or you want, as Ahmed is saying, sales and marketing. Now, Ahmed, you and I know that we go to the sales and marketing people, they charge you by the project. They'll tell you $5,000, $3,000, and they're outside of your view, and whatever they do in their cohorts is nothing that you see. You can say, I will deal with them by the result. I don't care to get involved in what they do. But at certain time, you need somebody that you can monitor as they are delivering, and you want to pay them by the effort, not project wise, because we know that all project wise gets baked in, and all of a sudden you're paying, especially if you're doing something overseas, you're paying something like $100 an hour, where that same person that did the job overseas could be doing it for $10, $20 an hour, right? Same effort, same output, same everything. So this platform being a global one, you can hire somebody in Canada for $70, $80. You can hire the same skill set in Pakistan, India, Philippines, blah, 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 Egypt, Jordan, for just a fraction. So it's very flexible in terms of what is your budget, where are you at with your startup, what is, or are you hiring experts you don't mind, like the quality, whatever your needs are, manage. And the promise here is within 60 seconds. It's built in a particular way where profiles are very dissected in a way that 60 seconds you get a top 10, and 60 seconds to glance a profile to say, I want to interview this person or not. 60 seconds and you're out.
That's a great solution.
The stuff that David is talking about, I don't have time for the hiring. But he's going to be called as a professional to do an interview. So he will have to review resumes and profiles. And that's where the other 60 seconds is. You don't need to. Resume formats are very generic. We broke down the profile in a certain way where you glance on certain things on the profile, and you can say, I want to interview these guys, or no, that guy doesn't work for me. Okay.
Amazing. Thanks.
So,
Thanks, Coach Mo.
Yeah.
Thank Coach Mo. Thank you so much.
So anyone who's interested can reach out to me, and then I can do demos with individuals if they want to know what the solution is, like collaborate with people like Emad and Wael to value add to them. They value add to my platform. If Ahmed was talking about fractional HR, if the fractional HR wants to be available and source business on the platform. So that's the nice thing about having this conversation together.
That's great. For sure. Yeah, we will connect. So back to David's question about the HR. Do you usually act like proactively or reactively to the workforce needs? Right? Is this your question? Yeah. So I'm gonna talk about the optimal solution. Optimal way is to be proactive. So this is called workforce planning, strategic workforce planning, which is we don't wait for the future to happen. We expect the future. We have something, we expect some scenarios even. We plan some scenarios for the future. And we focus, as you said, I agree with some of what you said, although I have to disagree with some part. But I agree that you have to focus on the pivotal jobs. We call them the pivotal jobs. If you are in an IT company and like a programming company, like you have to focus on the programmers and the IT developers. But you cannot disregard the smaller jobs, the lower profile jobs. You have to focus on the pivotal jobs, but also don't lose track of the low profile jobs. If you have the best engineers, best developers, and the worst customer facing front desk receptionist, you will lose your customer the next day. You will get the salespeople will get the best customer. The next day they will deal with your front desk specialist, front desk person. You will lose this customer. But you have to focus on your pivotal jobs. You have to plan scenarios for the future. And also you have to be proactive, which means, again, as I said from the beginning, scalability of your business. Is your business expected to grow up, and in what fields and in what businesses are you growing your company? which is very, very important, that the HR people must know the ins and out of your, must know the strategic directions of your business. I don't have to know. I used to work in an automotive company. I don't need to know how the technician fixes or diagnoses a car, but I know how the technician functions in the company, how the salesperson functions within the company, how the parts clerk function in the company, and how they all collaborate together. This is what I need to know in HR. I don't have to know what they are actually doing each and every day of their job. But this is part of our HR planning strategy, workforce strategic. We call it strategic workforce planning. We expect the future, we prepare for the future, and we predict and we submit proactive plans to the executive team before the problem happen. This is the best and the most efficient HR workforce planning for any company, specifically for a growing company.
You're on mute.
Does this answer the question? Yes.
Sorry. Well, if you want to chime in, and again, I know that you face some of those questions from your customers. So if you want to chime in and share, what's the best approach here from your point of view?
I think Ahmed is saying the best the best practice in the market, but we have some practical we are doing in Egypt exactly. Some clients we are working with are looking for on-demand solutions or on-demand consultation, or let's say combined service. Just need to they don't have a plan, but once they have any pop-up action, just call me or just make a request for me. I just need this position within for 3 months or for 1 month, and then we can provide this caliber on demand with combined service, recruitment and outsourcing and payroll and all the whole HR service. It's outsourced from a third-party company. What the job, what exactly the company need to do, just need to do the interview and do the acceptance for the technical job that they need to hire this person on the job. So this is another solution for the question that David asked before.
Do you still see, like on LinkedIn, because I still get hit up from the people that hit me up 20 years ago, still trying to contact me to send me resumes the old way, old school. You know what I'm talking about? HR company, a recruitment company. I don't know what you call them, but I get those monthly from people from Australia, from all over the world. Like, hey, Dave, remember me from 1999 or something? I'm like, you're still trying to send me resumes, are you? I'm like, are we still there like that? Because I don't know.
But David, what do you normally do? Like, again, I think we all get those people coming to us on LinkedIn, but what do you decide at the end? Like, this is your call, your business. How do you trigger your decision here?
Wow. So I go to our HR in Dubai, and I say I get hit up by somebody if I can help this and that, and they're looking for people, but they're also posted on LinkedIn from our company looking for people, and that's just how things are being done by most people who haven't caught up yet to what you guys are talking about, right? So it's still done that way. It's still like LinkedIn postings, and then people hit me up going, hey, do you know anybody looking to hire me? Because I'm looking for a work, and I have a big heart, right? So I'll stop what I'm doing, and I'll just look at my networking on LinkedIn. Like, I'm like, okay, so a friend of mine in the Philippines asking me to help him. I'm like, I'm trying to connect in with somebody, and then the other way people, then I'm looking for people. So either I'm looking or I'm helping. But it's like that, right?
Yeah. I wanna. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just don't. Like my days of of running 1,000 people and hiring people was, I worked in every country in the world, right? I mean, I used to run Egypt, I used to run Middle East for Nokia, I used to live in Dubai 3 years, so I was always hiring people, And I'd always think about, putting things with I'd always work with HR, my right hand. Like, okay, you got to take care of these people. You have to develop these people. You've got to think about them, the personal. You got to think about the expats leaving one day. You got to localize the talent once you guys all leave. So you have to have a transition program. You got to do these things. I mean, HR always was like, in my ear, like, okay, coaching me, like about touchy-feely stuff. I'm like, oh boy, here we go, HR. So I'm like, and so I learned a lot about the real value of life from HR. They slowed me down instead of like just working hard and burn people out till they drop to a different way. So I learned, so I think that way is very important. Is like, and I think there's a lot going on in my head right now over the last 30 years of doing things I've been doing. But right now I'm in a software company. It's my last hurrah, based out of Dubai. And we are selling software around the world. And we have a lot of software guys in Dubai, coming out of Pakistan, coming out of Egypt, coming out of Saudi, coming out of wherever they're coming from, Philippines, whatever. And that talent pool is quite high. But then when you start looking what I do, which is global sales, and I build a roadmap for data centers, for software development, and fiber, then I started thinking about, okay, these are the kind of talent we need to start building. Once we build the software, we're going to need the talent to build the software. And then we need the talent for project managers to actually interface with the data center companies, our clients, to interface with them about what our software does. So we're growing that way. We're growing in the new technology sector, that kind of stuff. So
David, sorry, I've might have missed something. Like, what is it exactly that your company sells? Are you selling something to telecom?
Yeah, I mean, our clients are like Ooredoo, Zane, Task, or all
What do you
across
sell them
Africa.
exactly? What do you sell them exactly?
We sell a software platform for managing their business, from deployment, operations, IoT sensoring. So they use our software to run their network.
Okay. So you do also IoT sensoring. You do like network optimization, capacity, all this stuff, right?
It's more of we build a passive infrastructure part of it. So we actually do the building of countries and building of networks. So things like with like with Ooredoo, Zane, Task, all these kind of companies over there. So we're across Asia, across Europe with Deutsche Telekom, Digital Bridge. So it's more the building it, operating it, IoT sensoring, accessing what you build. We hand it over to the actual people who activate the active side of the network on there, and we don't do that part. No.
Okay. Let's connect, because I would like to connect you with somebody who's in the field here in Canada. They have like similar solution that might complement. I don't know if you find it they're competing, just ditch it. But I think they're more like complementing what you do. And you said you implemented specifically. Did I hear you say you went to Tunisia and you implemented that in Tunisia?
We are working with Tunisia. Well, I know Ahmed's gonna cut me off here in 2 seconds, but we are in an RFP. I'll leave it like that. We are in Canada. I deal with Canada every week. Redwood, Rogers, those kind of clients in Canada are our customers.
Okay.
So things like that. So we are, and I'm in Florida, so we use Dish and Deutsche Telekom and Digital Bridge, and so in 42 countries.
Just quickly, it was an
Quick
interest because I implemented. Hang on,
So
Ahmed.
first of all, again, I want to keep this to HR, please. This is what we're here for.
Okay.
So again,
I thought you said this was
and that's
for
why
founders.
I'm sure there's tons of
Okay, I'll take it
collaboration that
offline with David.
yes,
Then that's fine.
please.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Okay. It's okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Again, I apologize, guys. I don't want to cut anyone off, but I just want to keep this discussion beneficial for everybody who's here. So that's why, again, I want to come back to the panel, Wael and Emad, about what David just have shared about his use case. Again, we're just taking this as a use case, not specifically for David, but again, just in general. What do you guys suggest in terms of a company that's growing in multiple areas, mostly in the data center space, and what should they avoid? What should they do as a best practice from an HR perspective? I'm not sure if Wael or Emad, you wanna chime in. Wael, maybe you've been quiet. If you're still there. Oh, okay, we lost Wael. Go ahead, Ahmed, then.
So I don't know specifically if he has a specific problem or question
when do
that
you
he.
feel like, again, like the question is, you've been with Toyota, Emad, I know,
Yep.
so Toyota have, almost the same thing. They are growing somehow in different areas. And what is the best practice for, David to consider from an HR perspective to keep, his business safe and also his customers well, served?
Yeah, again, as I said, like strategic workforce planning is very important, especially if you in the growing stage. You have to predict your staffing needs and fill in and prepare for the future. You prepare the organization structure, you prepare the job description for each position, and you prepare for the growth for the future. So I think the best, don't use HR as a reactive function. Like make sure that HR is proactively working to predict the future needs and start to fill out to create the org chart and fill the blanks in this org chart for future needs. But again, one part which is I really would like to reiterate, which is HR does not work in isolation. I cannot work on my own. I don't close the door and I start preparing an organizational chart and a plan for the future and I give it to the CEO to implement or the executive team to implement. No, I hear from the executive team what their plans are and I hear what they would like to do in the future, and then I start doing my homework and creating a plan how to implement this in the future.
Do you have
I'm not
can I
working in
ask a
isolation.
question? I have one
Yep.
question. I think George should have something, but do you have like a Gen X, Gen Y, baby boomer type mindset that certain talent falls into different categories, and that's what people want to see anyways, right? You don't want someone like me doing a job of a Gen Z, right, or Gen X, right?
Yeah,
I'm not the guy.
I understand your point, which is very important. It's very important that I don't want to be to prototype people, but it's very important that we have to handle this carefully, because even the point that you said, if you look at I had a disagreement with the executive team in the automotive company before about the Gen Z people and the length or the tenure with companies. They still believe that the shorter the tenure, the worst is the applicant. I don't want to pick an applicant who has been as you said juggling in different positions. The problem is this is the trend. You will be struggling to find a Gen Z employee who has been with one company for 4 or 5 years. You will be struggling, and this is not a fault of their own. It's not a problem. It's the trend. It's the nature of this generation. They work in one company. They feel that they saturated quickly, and then they leave. They go to another company. So if you are looking for someone who has been with the company for 4 or 5 years, you will be struggling to find someone.
Great point. I want to bring Ayman and George as well to the discussion. George, I feel like maybe you have something to share here with us.
A few points here. I'll try to be very concise. I haven't been not appreciating, but understanding the critical role of the HR until I started my entrepreneurship journey, which is still very recent. I appreciated how critical it is, not only in hiring but within many topics or focuses like the deciding on the pay range, the hiring, the benefits, even managing people during employment. So yeah, it was very critical part of any startup. I have like 2 startups so far. The first one, maybe I talked about it in the last meeting. It's in Canada. It's a biotech. We are still 5 people, and I had a fractional HR to operate the HR piece. He's an HR professional actually in a big regional health authority here in Canada. So he's very knowledgeable person, and this is my take to have him at least fractional for now. But the plan is to have them as a permanent in the future when we scale. The other one, it's a small company in UK. It's in personal care, oral care actually. It's a natural toothpaste, and we are still 2 people. We don't have HR, and that's why we are struggling there. I wouldn't say struggling, but we have a lot of plans that might touch the HR piece that we didn't have executed yet because we don't have an HR for this company. For example, having a partner in the United States, in Canada, in Egypt, and the Gulf area to be the agent or the sole agent on in these areas to take the operations and the management, expansion, sales, and marketing of this toothpaste in those areas. Especially that Canada and US will be like a very big market for that. So yeah, this is my take of. I am still figuring out the very good, fruitful discussion that happened this meeting. Sorry, I missed a little some parts of it. So, but I am enjoying the conversation between all of you.
Thank you, George, and wish you all the best with your expansion. And definitely reach out to Emad or Wael or Ahmed. They are all great experts in HR and can help you with anything offline. Ayman, I want to again bring you also to the discussion. I know your business could be different. I'm not sure if you're having any HR related questions or issues, but I want to give you a chance to share your insights.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. Yeah, right now I'm not in a position where I can hire people at this point in time. I only use, or I only hired a few interners. I offered internship at my own company, but I can share some of my experience working at IBM and some of the insights that I've actually seen myself when I was leading one of the UX design teams for Guardian Insights, which is a cybersecurity application that IBM, it's actually IBM's flagship product in cybersecurity and data security. So at some point in time, we were expanding a couple of years ago, and we wanted to add more people to our team. So I was given a task of being the hiring manager for a few roles that were opened at that time. And speaking of Gen Z, I have seen that, firsthand. I've interviewed a couple of folks. Some of them were based in Ireland, in Dublin, Ireland, and some of them were also based in Canada, and some were based in India. And I can say that there was a growing trend or a common theme that I noticed is that they are very enthusiastic. They are really knowledgeable, but their attention span is really, really thin. I mean, when I was talking to them, some of them in an interview, they were on their phones, which I found not only disrespectful to some degree, but also, for their own benefit, it won't do them any good. And I've seen it in a couple of times, and not just randomly in one person or one candidate or two, but more than that, which was very disappointing, to be honest. Eventually, we hired the right person, and they were great. They are still working for IBM, and they are doing a great job. But just on the other side of things, being that kind of distracted mindset was not very helpful for them, at least. And I'm not sure if this is going worse or getting better, because with AI, it's getting even crazier. But yeah, this is my own observation based on my personal experience on the other side of the table. Yeah.
Ayman, it's gonna get worse.
That's very unfortunate.
You're gonna get 3 ADHD in every 4.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, having ADHD is not the issue here. I mean, it's their own. They have chosen to do so with their own free will. They were on their phones while we are in the interview. So I don't know. It's not a
Yeah.
good sign for what's coming next.
I personally starting to doubt myself if I have ADHD, like because we're distracted in so many things and we're like flipping so many tasks. I stop sometimes, I freeze, and I was like, do I have an ADHD?
Yeah. Let me throw one a 10-second thing out here, because you know, I'm an ex Air Force guy, and I used to run 5 years the U.S. military, all telecom for the United States, for towers, fiber, everything. There's something called the DoD Skill Bridge program. Have you guys heard of that HR function? DoD Skill Bridge, Department of Defense. So how that works is that the military people getting out when they're 22, young guys, they have a talent. And if you go to these, if you sign up on this program called DoD Skill Bridge, you get free of charge people for 6 months, and the government pays for that. The U.S. government pays. It's a transition program of talent from high tech stuff from the Navy. You know, all the skills you got, techie people. And the U.S. government picks up their salary for 6 months, and then after 6 months, you can decide to hire them or release them. It's a partnership from HR programs with the U.S. government.
Is it
And
still running, David? Is
I'm
it still
sorry.
running? Is it still running? I'm not sure
Yeah,
if it's.
it's still going. I was just using it last year to find people to transition them.
That's good to know.
Doesn't Jonathan Tennis work on
Yeah.
an initiative similar to this?
Yeah, I think he maybe was one of those folks.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess so.
He
Okay,
works
let's get
also
back to.
elder than this category, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like an HR transition period for people. We get free talent, and you free high tech talent, and then you can this help you also to maybe position your client with the military from whatever country it is. I don't know, but I'm American, so then this will help you get jobs, get contracts, because you have these people in your organization.
Yeah, no, I think I'm familiar with this community, and have some other folks who are already part of this. So coming back again to Wael, Wael, are you there? I just want to make sure your internet is
Yes,
working.
I'm here.
Okay,
I'm
awesome.
just sorry for I have some electricity issue, and I'm in my office, so I'm now in my car. So
No
I'm
worries.
totally here.
No worries, no worries. Again, I want to just, get some of your wisdom, Wael, about, what is your observation about what you're seeing today that most companies either avoid or they make as a mistake for their hiring or their, workforce scaling, or, increasing their workforce. What do you observe from those customers that you're working with, that maybe we can all learn from you?
I think the most common thing that I'm seeing that every day, the culture fit. Once we got to make some scalability for hire new people, and very aggressive plan for new people, the company not focusing on the culture fit. That's and which is the most important point in the any company. We have to select the maybe I have some candidates is very good in the technical skills and communication skills and so on, but they are not culture fit, so they can't communicate together. The people can't communicate together. And this point is once we have scalability, even we have scalability in overseas or some. We are not talking about other countries. We are just talking about other government in the country. Let's say we have some people in Cairo, so we need to open a new branch in Upper Egypt. So I have to make sure for every new candidate in the Upper Egypt is a culture fit for the Upper Egypt, not for the company culture that's based in Cairo. Yeah, you know. So this point is very important. We have to consider it in the scalability hiring.
So how do you make this more objective? And again, I want to bring Ahmad here because I'm sure culture fit is something that, you know, you've been working on as well. So how do you, you know, really make this clear? Like, again, it cannot be black and white, but you know, it's it's a bit tricky one. Go ahead, Wael.
Yeah, simply, people they have they have same backgrounds, they have same languages, they have same or almost not same exactly 100%, but
Well, your internet is a
maybe
little bit well,
um,
not sure if it's only me, but I think, you know,
No,
you're
it's
breaking
cutting.
up
It's
well.
cutting off.
Yeah,
It's cutting off. It's
maybe Ahmed, you can chime in here.
Yes.
Well, I'm, you know,
Is
I'll bring you back.
is it good now?
Yes.
Yes,
Now it's better.
now go ahead.
Okay.
Right.
I'm talking about how to practically know that the culture is fit, right?
Yes.
Okay. Basically, we just need to make sure that they have the same language, they are talking the same language, they are going to the same places, they are have the same backgrounds, not the same 100%, but at least they have a big area of common area. They can communicate well with the same background, with the same language. That's يعني basically that this is the way that we can describe the culture fit.
Gotcha. Ahmed, do you want to add anything here?
Yes. So I'd like to add my feedback on this part and also on Barbara and Coach Mo's discussion at the beginning, which is make sure that this person will come and stay around for a while, not resign within the probation period, and also make sure that this person is a good fit for the culture of the company. These are questions that you will never be able to answer 100%. Let's be honest.
Yes.
I cannot tell you Muhammad is going to stay with the company for 2 years or 3 years. Muhammad is the best culturally fit person. I cannot say this. I give an like well-educated a well-educated guess about this person's character, this person's future plan, that he's going to stay with the company, stay around for a while, or an educated guess that this person would be a good fit for the culture of the company. This is what I can do the most. However, that's why we have the probation period. We have a 3 months probation period in Canada, in which we can the person would check the company, and the company would check this person if he is a good fit or not. So I can give you an example. I personally hired a payroll specialist and terminated her in the first week. In the first week, in the interview, this was the best candidate for me, that she is a good fit, the best fit for this position. Experience, character-wise, she's very active person. She's very enthusiastic. She was moving from one province to another. However, she was learning the new regulations for our province in Ontario. But in 1 week, the first week, she was late 2 or 3 times. She no show 2 days in the first week. So this is not the culturally fit person that I'm looking for. She's not a good fit, and I terminated her in the first week. So honestly, you do your best guess to well-educated guess about this person. But at the end of the day, you try this person in the probation period, and if he's not a good fit, you let him go. The problem was back to the question that Wael raised about if we have a company that has different branches and different branches have different cultures. This is, although I would handle this question, but I would answer the first, I would comment initially that this is a problem in the HR function in the company. A company should have the same culture in every location of the company. As much as they should not match, you cannot ensure that they match 100%, but they should be matching. But if they have different cultures, this is a problem in the HR department in this company. But as an HR professional, I will have to handle. I'll have to make sure that this person is fit for the culture he is going to be hired in, not the whole culture of the company, as much as I can. But the best case scenario is to have the same culture for every location of the company. In automotive industry, for example, we have 3 locations. And in YMCA before, I had around 5-6 locations. They all had the same culture. Same
But
culture.
they are in the same location also,
No,
Ahmad, right?
they are not. They are not.
Different
Different
locations?
locations.
Okay.
Yeah, in automotive industry, we had one in Canada, one in Maryville, and another one in two locations in Maryville, one in Canada, and one in Robertson Road.
But they are
In
all in Ottawa.
YMCA, we
They
had
are
even
all
one
in
in
Ottawa.
Clarence Rockland.
But they are all in Ottawa, so it's the same
Still
location.
Ottawa.
Yeah.
But we have one in Clarence Rockland in YMCA. Clarence Rockland is the outskirts of Ottawa. So we had one in Clarence Rockland. We had 3 or 4 in YMCA. But you have to make sure that they have the same culture.
So, Emad, feel free to challenge me on this because science is evolving on this, and while companies would love to claim that they have one culture, practically there's nothing such as one culture for the organization. The culture is at the level of teams interacting together because culture developed during interaction. So some people say that the organization of 10,000 people have X culture. In reality, that's not the case. Right?
Mhm.
As you said, locations from one place in the city to the other form this group of people interacting extensively than the other person in the other office. So when the other person from the other office moves to them, they've already spun into a different culture altogether. Yes, related to the parent. I'm not saying like East and West, but they are not the same. If you look at the NDA of that, DNA of that culture is not the same as the other offices, not the one with a certain manager that influenced the culture by their leadership style. So that team of 10 is the same culture. And that's why when we put the same teams in the same company and give them the same variables of or control of the company, you find one is extremely productive while the other one is not as productive.
Okay, so Coach Mo, first of all, I'm not saying that it's 100% identical. It can't be, as you said, it can't be. But still, HR is the gatekeeper of the culture in the company. And you know that multinational companies have the same culture in Egypt as in the USA. Same culture does not mean 100% identical.
Yes.
Okay,
100%.
as you said, different teams have a little bit of variance of the culture, but they have the umbrella culture. I'm talking about the umbrella. The general culture of the company must be the same.
And one other side is the tossing of new employees into the environment. And this, I find it that is a big gap with companies is when they hire a new person and they understand and they know that even if that you're very careful, still there's areas where it's not going to be 100% match. Even if they stay in the company for 2-3 years, still there's boundaries that are not going to match. But I don't find enough on the onboarding side to train people on these cultural differences. Kind of like go figure, go discover, go do it by trial and error, go bump heads with your manager before you discover your manager's style. So I feel that there's also a need for during the onboarding to normalize that time.
Yes,
that transition, right?
And I personally have been working on a similar project, which is to, as you said, to make sure that the consistency of the onboarding process, let's say consistency of onboarding process, and make sure that people like get into the culture or get used to the culture in a systematic way, not on their own as free will. Go and explore it yourself. We had developed and applied a system called the buddy system, which is in each new employee would be matched with a buddy from the same department or a different department, doesn't have to be the same department, who can help them and guide them on the onboarding process from day one for 1 month follow-up, 2 months follow-up, 3 months follow-up, even after 6 months. They stay with the buddy for 6 months. This buddy will help them navigate the new culture of the company and ensure that they match with the company or the culture of the company. This is a new system that many companies are adopting right now, and I personally have implemented this in a company in Egypt that has branches in Egypt and Saudi Arabia, and it was a very successful approach to make sure that people get into the culture in a systematic way, not their own personal expectations. So again, HR is the gatekeeper. Sorry, Ahmed, final comment. Get HR. I usually call HR is the gatekeeper of policy policy implementation and culture implementation.
So at the bottom line is you can't live without HR.
Yes,
okay,
you can.
You can't live without HR, and you also can't live with HR. So figure out
You
yourself.
can live with HR.
Yeah. At the beginning, you can't live without them. In the middle,
It's like
you
your
want to live
wife.
without them.
Well, I think you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, يعني, I agree with Ahmed for his point of view, but once we change or replace the word of culture with the word of values, the values of the company
Yep.
must to be applied for every branch, every place. This is for this point, I agreed with you 100%. But for the way of or the perspective of the culture, it's totally based on the location and on the country culture.
Which is Coach Mo
I-
called the team culture. In this case, we call the team culture.
yes, the team
Which
culture,
is,
right?
yes,
The team
makes
culture,
sense
which
for
is
sure.
the perspective of the culture is how to communicate, how we are doing the
Sure.
things in the company.
Sure,
This is
sure.
exactly
I totally agree.
this is exactly what we are how to describe the culture as how to do here in our company, how to do things.
Totally agree.
This is the point.
I don't disagree with this part. As you said, values they
Yeah.
must be consistent. Team cultures might be different, and I can give you an example. I told you about the different cultures in different locations. However,
Yeah.
I knew that the sales team in Canada was a little bit different from the sales team in Maryville, which is the team dynamics. I would call it team culture or team dynamics. The general culture of the company is the same, but they have different dynamics. I totally agree. Now we are on the same page.
Even Wael will have another layer called even outside of Egypt. So when you take the Egyptian caliber or candidate and put him at a Saudi
in a different
client
country
or an Emirati
Yes,
client,
definitely.
the dynamics will be
Yes.
Sure.
different. And David being in UAE will tell you even himself dealing with Emiratis will be perceived different from the Egyptian, from the European, from the
100%
Asian.
right.
All this stuff, right?
Cannot disagree.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
100%.
I think one last comment on my side is I've worked over the world, and I only can remember one HR person who I thought was brilliant was Jakarta, Indonesia. She had all the heart, passion for people's lives, and she knew everything about everybody's personal things. And she would tell me, "Be careful today, Dave. Choo Choo had an issue with his family, and this happened." And we went through all these meetings about people's medical benefits, and then all in Bahaza. I had to sit on the stage with her, and she was like telling me in English what they're talking about, and it was really a touchy-feely HR and helping me build the future of the country about the local talent when I left. And that's the only person in my life, in my 25, 30 years of doing all over the world. I worked in Germany, all over Europe, all over Middle East and Africa, Dubai. The guy, some guys were technical people that wanted to get off the road, so they went to HR. And they were like, the last job was software development.